Hey all, I'm going to do a really quick recap of the morning session at the court today, which was the cross-examination of Nishad Singh, and it it was kind of mixed in the sense that there were a lot of pretty vague questions from the defense attorney Mark Cohen. And so numerous times he was asked to restate questions. Nishad even sometimes didn't know what he was asking, stuff like that. There were times when the lawyers went back and forth over whether or not a question was allowed, and then Cohen by then would have kind of lost his train of thought or whatever, and so he'd have to wait to ask for the question to be reread back. And there was a lot of that, so it almost felt like it was kind of hard for me to follow. And frankly, you guys, I was tired, so it was fighting off sleep. But it did seem like, despite all that, so at one point, I wrote this feels sort of aimless because it just felt like he kind of kept going from topic to topic, and I didn't always understand what the point was. But looking back, there were a few things he managed to get across. First was he kind of asked Nishad about the spending. Pointing out that the FTX Arena sponsorship was over 20 years or 19 years, I think, and so 135 million over 19 years, you can do the math on that. But the point is, he managed to get across, you were an engineer, you weren't a business person, you don't know if this is valuable or not. And then similarly, he got points across about the apartment, because, Nishad had made a big deal about how he had objected to living in this luxurious apartment, and then Cohen got across that actually Nishad and his girlfriend lived in the what Nishad admitted was the nicest master bedroom suite. So then he asked, did you think about why didn't you move out if you didn't like it so much? Why didn't you move out? And Nishad said, well, actually, I thought about moving out many times. And then Cohen's like, yeah, but you didn't. And he was like, yeah, I didn't. So just certain things like that, kind of casting doubt on what Nishad had testified the day before. And there were a few other things here. Primarily, I guess, one is that they went through this thing about auto deleveraging liquidations, which I guess it was if there was a customer that needed to be liquidated, then the first choice would be to have the people who had signed up, the market makers who would sign up to be backstop liquidity providers, be the first to take on these positions, and then have that. I don't know. Again, this wasn't explained super well, but the point is that. They wanted the professionals to do it, but there was one instance where that was impossible, and so I'm so sorry about this siren. So since that wasn't possible, I guess a customer had to take on this position, and I think the implication was maybe by allowing by having Alameda get this allow negative future or something, that enabled customers to not have to take on these bad positions or something in cases of auto deleveraging. But again, I'm not sure how important of a point it was, because there was only one incident they talked about. I think it happens so rarely. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, honestly, there was kind of a break shortly after, and a bunch of us were trying to figure out where that was going. So I will probably have to read over the transcript to really see if it seemed like he landed a point with that, because honestly, a lot of us were confused. And then the last bit is he went over the political spending by Nishad quite a bit. Essentially kind of making the point first of all, that Nishad didn't have to make the political donations, that even before he had kind of gotten it into it in a big way with Ryan Salem and Gabe's PAC, that when he was working at Alameda in 2018, he had done some political donating at that point of his own. And then the other thing was they made a big deal about whether or not he actually owned the political spending back as loans, whether, and I wasn't exactly sure where that was going, but Nishad kept saying that he felt obligated to pay that money back, but he didn't know if the lender expected him to pay it back. So again, it's not clear to me exactly where the defense was going with that, but that was it. took a while to get through all that. And then the last bit is just like at the end, the jury left the room, and then the lawyers and the judge were kind of discussing something, and it was about, like what test or what the different experts that the government wants to call, what they can bring in. But I'm kind of, frankly, I don't know, you guys, maybe if you read my book, you will know that I am like a blockchain nerd. Apparently, they're going to be looking at the balances of FTX and how, on the blockchain in terms of their crypto assets and their internal accounting of it. And apparently, I think what it's going to show, at least if I heard and remember correctly from this discussion just now, is that the internal ledger showed more than what was actually in the blockchain, which is super interesting. So anyway, who knows? I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I'm kind of excited about that. So anyway, that's the update from the courtroom.